has been involved in tasks related to teaching, administration, and admission processes. With her deep knowledge of all the design, technology, and management courses of NIFT and her understanding of the fashion industry, she is considered one of the senior most admission counselors for the institute. Very warm welcome, ma'am. So, currently, with the NIFT counseling underway, can you please share your insight on the same? As in, what exactly happens in NIFT counseling and what is the criteria for admission?
Okay, thanks so much, Shikha. Today I'm going to just take you through a brief of what NIFT is all about, what fashion education is all about, because everybody wants to become a designer. So let me just start by saying I am not a designer. I am not from a design background. I am from a hardcore garment manufacturing background. But yes, if you ask me to design a factory, I can design a factory. If you ask me to design production systems, I can do that. So the word design at the moment is very, should I say, a maligned word. It's a word that is interpreted in I don't know how many formats. And today, what I'd like to take you through is, if that's all right, a small presentation um, in which I'd like to talk about the courses that we have in NIFT, um, options which are in NIFT, which are unique to NIFT, and some things that are available otherwise also. But yes, NIFT does have a kind of a monopoly on some of the courses. So, how we develop, what the students can do, and what they come out with. I do realize that the first question that does come up is, will I get a good job? Will I get a good package? Will I get, and these days the buzzword is, will I have a good work life balance? So those are the questions that we'll deal with. And I'll try and answer it through my presentation. Can I just share my screen and share the presentation with you? Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
Oops. One second. Um, can you see my screen? Visibility?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I'll be talking about career choices in fashion and design technology and management. And let me just start by saying that fashion is not just about design. Uh, in fact, if you look at the entire industry of fashion, it actually resembles a triangle where design, technology, and management are the three corners of your triangle. And each one cannot exist without the other one. A designer cannot be designing in isolation. If nobody is going to produce the product that you're going to design, what are you designing for? If nobody can sell the product that you're designing, what are you designing for? And so on. So it's a symbiotic relationship between the three fields, and that is what we focus on. Just a very quick one of what is fashion: a trend in lifestyle, a reflection of the social, political, economic, artistic forces at any given point of time. So when we say this is in fashion or this is out of fashion, basically we are talking about what is in trend and what is it that the political or the economic system actually kind of generates as business. And fashion is a big business. Also, fashion has the power to transform an image and make a social statement. Think in terms of any of your film stars who are really making it big. And you can see how fashion has actually changed them from what they were and what they are today, whether in the positive way or a negative way. Yeah. Um, Common misconceptions that we have. And I'm bringing this slide up because these are questions which come up with a lot of parents, particularly. It's a Western concept. No, it isn't. We talk about, if there is a lifestyle in India, then there is a fashion in India also. It's not something which is very Western. in its concept. We do have it. It's a global concept. And India, as a producer nation, we produce garments, we produce products for a lot of big brands across the world. um, I'm going to just kind of share a small little anecdote of somebody who had come from the US for me and brought me this dress, a t-shirt actually, from Gap, and very smart t-shirt and everything. And then I looked at the label and it said made in India. And I kept wondering कि बना तो यही है. So the person has paid that much money and specially got it from the West. No, it's not a concept that is Western. Fashion education is for the financially well off, not really. And in NIFT, particularly, we do have a lot of students who do not come from very financially well off families. We have had students who have come from the lowest levels of income group and yet are doing extremely well. And when I talk about the NIFT policies, I will also be talking about the fact that we do have scholarships, etc., that help you through. Fashion education is only for girls, not any longer. We are talking about fashion education. We're not talking about a dressmaking or a tailoring course. So, yes, we have a lot of boys who come in, and it is not a female dominant or a female oriented course. Fashion industry, and this one, of course, I've heard from a lot of parents. um, बच्चे खराब हो जाते हैं. Immoral, corrupting, unethical industry, well, it's as good or bad as any other industry. So, I mean, the question is that, do you think that your child is going to get into bad habits just because they get into fashion? I would like to disagree, because the kind of rigor and the passion that's required in a course like ours, they don't really have the time or the inclination to get into severely bad habits. And if they have to get into bad habits, they will. I mean, you're not going to be able to stop them. Fashion industry is only made up of designers. Well, not really. Again, like I said, it's a triangular course. So you do have the manufacturers and you do have the marketing guys. And India has no need for people trained. And that is perhaps the biggest of the misconceptions. Because, like I said, if we are a producer nation and we are actually making things for a lot of international brands, then yes, we need the trained manpower to do so. So, just kind of focusing on the design portion. In design, we can have, and this is particularly in NIFT, we have 6 undergraduate design programs: fashion design, lifestyle and accessory design, and which in other courses. So I'm going to kind of just link it up also to other institutes that may be offering similar programs. So you have institutes like NID, for example, that actually call it product design. They do not use the word accessory. In our case, the focus does become on an accessory, so something that is worn along with the clothes. And that could be footwear, it could be jewelry, it could be headgear, it could be bags, it could be anything that you're wearing or carrying with you along with your clothes. So that's your accessory design. Then knitwear design. Knitwear design, initially thought of as only being about knits, as sweaters, is no longer that. Your entire sportswear industry is based on this. So that's knitwear design. Then leather design, we have institutes like FDDI that offer it as footwear design. But when we do leather design, we are doing garments, we are doing products, we are doing footwear. And later I will be taking you through some visuals of some work that our students have done. Then textile design. Textile design is about the designing of the cloth, the fabric, the material, rather than of the clothes. Then we have fashion communication. Now, fashion communication in NIFT includes graphics, it includes journalism, it includes photography and videography, it includes exhibition design, it includes UI UX. So there is a whole lot happening in communication. Um, a lot of other institutes will have more specific or more specialized courses. So you will have courses in graphics, you will have fashion journalism as a course, you will have exhibition design as a course, you have set design as a course. We build it into one because it's all about communicating fashion in a big way. um, Technology is the other angle of that triangle that I talked about. And in NIFT, we have the Bachelor of Fashion Technology and the Masters in Fashion Technology. So, why fashion technology? You cannot manufacture something in thin air. You still need a factory. You still need to be able to put it together. And that is what fashion technology does. The impact is that we have people in uh, and because this was one of the most unique of our courses, um, right now the top level people in some of the biggest factories of the world are actually graduates from our fashion technology background. And it's different from a traditional engineering. So for fashion technology in NIFT, you require a PCM, a physics, chemistry, maths in class 11 and 12. For design undergraduate, you do not require that. You may have a humanities kind of combination of subjects. You could have commerce, you could have science, you could have a vocational stream. It doesn't matter. But for fashion technology bachelor's, you need PCM in class 11 and 12. And for the master's program, you require an engineering degree. Now, how is Bachelor's of Fashion Technology different from a traditional engineering program? Is that traditional engineering programs are theoretical, they are theory based. So, if I was to take an example, you take a thing like, for example, if I'm looking at, let's say, any theorem, okay, um, Bernoulli's theorem as an example. Uh, so, a student who's doing BTech pure knowledge is actually doing pages of the derivation of that theorem, which is theoretical knowledge. And we in NIFT for fashion technology, we say, all right, Bernoulli's theorem gives you the pressure points. It actually equates your pressure with volume and so on. And this is how we are going to use it in the hydraulic systems. And this is how I use it in machines. So in NIFT, for us, technology is about applied technology, not so much as the theoretical technology. So you do not have papers on physics and pure maths and pure physics and pure chemistry. Doesn't happen. Okay. It also makes ensures that the student have
Bhavna, hi.
a
Hi, this is
very
Shruti.
practical.
Bhavna,
Hi,
hi, this
Shruti.
is Shruti. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt you. I think we're getting bombarded with questions. There are a lot of students who want to know about the admission process. I love what you're sharing, but most all these students who are there, our audience, have actually already taken the exam and they are now waiting for their admission. So I think it would be great
Okay.
if we can take those questions. We don't want them to feel
Sure.
that, yeah. So, I mean,
Sure.
otherwise we won't
Sure.
be able to
Let's
complete and
go
our
with the
time is getting,
questions then.
yeah, yeah, that would be great. Thank you so much. Thanks so much, Bhavna. Shika,
Read
I
the
think you
questions
have
then.
you can start taking the questions.
Yeah, yeah. All
Yeah,
right,
go
great.
ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So many of the questions are there in the Q&A chat box. So I'll just start taking some of those questions. So one of the student is asking that why the question paper is not related to design, which is actually happening in the industry.
Uh, because the question paper is about understanding or getting an idea of the candidate's ability to think out of the box and about the skill levels. So Shika, if I could just, kind of, for those who haven't taken the paper and are giving it next year, there are examples are not our exams are in two phases. The first phase is the general ability test. So that's your English, maths, vocabulary, quantitative, that kind of a paper. And the second paper for design students is the creative ability. Now, I think that is the question that is being raised. the questions that we normally call for in, so that's a basic drawing and sketching paper. But one can build a skill of drawing and but if you don't really have a creative bent of mind, drawing a straight line I can teach. uh, Getting you to think creatively, I can't teach that. Either you have it or you don't have it. And our question paper is designed to test exactly that. Skill we can teach you. So when we evaluate also, the skill component is actually the lesser part of the marks, and more marks are actually given for how creatively the person has thought it out. So if I'm saying, okay, design a workspace for work at home, I'm not looking at, yes, the proportions become important, but it's not just about, okay, what is the proportion of that chair to the table, to the wall, to the whatever. I'm also looking at, has the person really thought about what is the purpose of that workstation? Has the person been able to analyze and get a broader sense? So our question papers are actually testing the students or the candidate's ability to think creatively, because creativity cannot be taught. I would We can teach skill. Creativity is inbuilt.
Right.
So that is what our question paper is about.
Right, ma'am. So another student is asking that does 12th boards marks also matter for entrance in NIFT?
No, no, no. You just have to clear all your subjects.
Okay.
You just have
And
to clear all of them. Yeah.
all right. Another student is asking about the admission process in NIFT Mumbai.
Okay. So NIFT has a centralized admission process. The process remains the same irrespective of which campus you are applying for. The forms come out in October, November. The first phase is in January, February. It's on a Sunday. It's 2 papers for design, and in technology also there are 2 papers, and for the PG courses also. Then the technology for BFTech, the story finishes there. So based on your 2 papers, the merit list will come out. But for design and for PG, they go on to phase 2. So the shortlisting is done almost on the basis of almost 3 times the number of seats that we have. So that's where we close the shortlisting. And those students are called for the second phase. In postgraduate courses, the second phase is a group discussion and a personal interview. At undergraduate, we do not have an interview. We do not look at portfolios. We have a test called the situation test. Now, unfortunately, this year, and I think even last year, we were not able to have the situation test. So they formulated something else because of the COVID situation. Otherwise, the situation test, we give you material, there's a question, and it's actually hands-on. You're creating something with the given material, testing again creativity and your ability to work with different kind of materials. So that is how the test goes. After which you get a common merit rank. So once your merit rank comes out, you can decide at the time of counseling, whatever is available, whichever campus course is available, you can opt for that. But it is not different for Mumbai and different for Bhubaneswar and different for Shillong. It's a centralized exam, an
Yeah.
all India exam. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the next question we have is, what kind of jobs go to students who are just out of NIFT?
The sky's the limit. Every year we get new profiles coming in. um, Designers, of course, you work with designers, you can work with export houses, you can work as a designer of a product, you can start your own, you can be an entrepreneur, you can start your your own factory if you like, or your own brand. You could also be design, like we have students who are designing for films and for TV series, etc., as costume designers. You can be a stylist, and that's just about clothes. So then you could be a textile designer, you could be working with mills, you could be working on ad campaigns, you can be working on media campaigns, As a fashion communication person, we have an ex-student of NIFT Delhi who started her wedding events company. She's doing that. The sky's the limit. Once you have this kind of a knowledge, see, the 4 years at NIFT is not just about what you're learning in the classroom. And that is what makes a NIFT education unique. We also talk about what you are learning in the industry. So there's a lot of internships happening. We talk about how you are learning from the clusters. So the students actually go into craft areas, go into villages, work with the craftsmen, understand the crafts which are available in India. Then we have students who are, we have also, oh yes, with our new curriculum, we have something called majors. So your major subjects are what you are specializing in. Take an example. Let's say I'm joining a fashion design program. My major is fashion design. I can pick up a minor in fashion communication. So I can do a major of fashion design with a minor in communication, which means I'm working on a few other subjects which are communication based. And when I come out, then I have this kind of holistic knowledge of what happens in the communication field as well as the fashion design field. So that is what makes a NIFT education unique in many ways. It is international. It is 4 years. You want to go for a master's after that, you could. And our degree is globally recognized. Globally. So any institute across the world is going to accept this undergrad degree. Our 4 year program means that countries like US, etc., which have a 10 plus 2 plus 4 education system, they accept our degrees. So a lot of our students are directly able to go for their masters without doing, one extra year of education or so on and so forth for masters. So that is what makes our course unique. You can build your own profile. I can decide that, all right, I want to be a fashion journalist, but I also want an education in textile design. Sure, it's
Right.
possible. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So another student wants to know about the study abroad programs available, particularly for NIFT, particularly for BFTech.
Shika, I'm sorry, I lost you. What available? I'm sorry.
The study abroad programs that are available,
Yeah.
particularly for
Yeah.
BFTech course.
All right. So we have NIFT currently has an MOU with about 36 institutes across the world. With FIT New York, we have a dual degree. So that is available only to design students. So the dual degree, the way it works is that they do 2 years in NIFT, whichever campus. If they are selected for the FIT program, their third year, they are in New York. Well, this time it is partly online, but they are in New York. And the fourth year, they come back and complete in NIFT. So at the end of it, they get a degree of NIFT and an associate degree of FIT. With most of the others, our semester abroad is only for 6 months, one semester. For BFTech particularly, we have 2 or 3 institutes which prefer our BFTech students, and our students tend to go there almost every year. One is NSAT, which is, pardon my pronunciation, which is in France. Um, it's spelled as ENSIASAIT, NSAT, which is in France. Very uh, keen to pick up our BFTech students, so students go there. Then we have the Swiss College of Textiles, which takes our BFTech students. We have, I think, something in Philadelphia and one in Manchester, which picks Nottingham, which picks up BFTechs. So for BFTech, if I want to do like a hardcore technology program, because our program is so unique and comprehensive, it's difficult to find a comparable program in any institute in the world, honestly speaking. So there are fewer options there. But for design, we have a lot more options which are happening.
Right. Right.
But options are open to all students of NIFT, irrespective of which campus you may be studying.
Right. Okay, so another question. The student is asking, I have taken admission in NIFT Kolkata for MFM course. So
Hmm.
will online classes affect the job opportunities?
No. Well, honestly, okay. Honestly speaking, I don't know. I don't think so. Um, NIFT has centralized placements. Companies come to NIFT. They do not come to NIFT Kolkata or NIFT Delhi or NIFT Mumbai. So if you've got an education and a degree that says NIFT, that is what it is. Um, what we have is a lot of our students who are now, we've had a batch of 2020. Yes, the batch of 2020 has had a rough time because 2020 there were no jobs. Thi hi nahi. A lot of the big companies had shut down, medium size had shut down, and that was, I think, a global phenomenon. So it wasn't really not just our institute getting affected, but I think every single institute, including the IIMs, got affected by that. 2021, we've had a fairly good placement week, placement opportunities for our students. And the batch of 2021, if you really look at it, their second year for masters, let's talk about MFM, their second year was online because obviously, I mean, their second year started from August, September 2020 to when they passed out. And that was completely online. Did it affect their opportunities? No. No, because the kind of companies that normally tend to come to NIFT do not look at this online offline message. They are looking for a NIFTian. And MFM, in fact, is one of our courses which is, it is possible to have that entire course online because it is like a specialized MBA. The theoretical component or the percentage is much more as compared to the practical. So the MFM program definitely does not get affected if there is online classes or offline classes. And if that student is still studying, well, we don't know. I mean, we might be able to open the campuses in October. I We are still hopeful. We are genuinely hopeful about that. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So another student is saying, I gave the exam this year. My rank was 2973, category rank in general category, but I didn't apply for the counseling thinking I wouldn't have got a seat. Can you please tell if I can now?
The second round of counseling is also over. So as far as I know, um, the admission process for 2021 is actually closed. However, for more live details on the same, I would suggest that you go on to our website. So that's www.nift.ac.in, and check the admissions column there. um, as far as we know, the second round of counseling finishes day after tomorrow,
Right.
19 को. तो अगर 19 को खत्म होता है, then that effectively means admission 2021 is closed. So anything that is happening there, I would actually advise or suggest that in case you're really interested, please apply again. We have had students who've risen from a 2000 plus rank to within the top 100 in the all India merit ranks. It it if it's something that you're very passionate about, please go right ahead and apply again. But this time's admissions, as far as I know, is closed.
Right. Another student is asking how to know the cutoff and
Mm.
who gets the domicile and EWS seat. Do they have different criteria and merit list?
uh okay, to understand that, okay, let me deal with the cutoff question first. There is no cutoff. We really put the cutoff depending on the number of candidates. So it's not that, okay, if you are getting a 40 marks, तो आपका कट ऑफ के अंदर है और 39 हो गया तो आप नहीं आ सकते हैं. It doesn't work that way. The cutoffs get decided as per the number of candidates and how high or low the scoring has been in general, so almost like a percentile basis. So predicting a cutoff is impossible because we don't know what kind of scoring every year will have. If you're talking in terms of cutoffs of merit rank, that's another thing which is a little difficult to predict because merit ranks, the choice of campus and the courses keeps fluctuating depending on the situation that may be in a particular geographical region or the situation that may be in the industry at that point of time. So yes, the cutoffs is that. And Shikha, the second part was, sorry.
The second part was who gets the domicile in EWS
Yeah.
seats.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we in NIFT we follow the Government of India reservation policy. So we have reservations for OBC candidates with the non-creamy layer certificate. So you need that NCL. If you are not in that NCL, then obviously you are not eligible. Then we have obviously the SC, ST. We have people with disabilities, PWD, which is a mandatory part of government thing. And then we have EWS. Now, EWS is why I put EWS in the end is because that's the latest one that's been added on in the last 2 years. The EWS is based on your EWS certificate. For your domicile, not all campuses have a domicile. NIFT has certain campuses where the state government is a stakeholder. Okay. So some of the old campuses do not have this. The newer campuses, so if I can count, Shillong will have Meghalaya domicile, which means that the domicile just means that the student has done the class 12 from that particular state. Okay. So Shillong has it. Then we have it in Bhubaneswar for Odisha. We have it in Patna for Bihar. We have it in Bhopal for Madhya Pradesh. We have it in Kannur for Kerala. And we have it in Jodhpur for Rajasthan. And of course, Srinagar for J&K. So those are the ones that have domiciles. The latest one is Panchkula. Panchkula has it for Haryana. So yes, that has been there. The domicile is given on the basis of class 12, not on the basis of where you are staying or your, proof of residence. That doesn't count. So you could be staying in Delhi, but you've done it, you're schooling from Gurgaon, you get the benefit of Haryana. So yeah,
So the
that's how
merit
it goes.
lists are same is what the student is asking, or the merit lists for
Yeah.
these
So
categories?
every student, every candidate, let me not use the word student, every candidate at the end of the process will get two ranks. One, which is a CMR, a common merit rank, which is the combined list, and then there is a second rank, which is your category merit rank. So I could have, hypothetically, and yes, we have seen that happen, I could have a common merit rank of 5,323 and a category rank of 2. This could happen in especially the PWD cases. Fine. The category rank, when we are dealing with the seats in the category rank is taken first. But for general category candidates, your common merit rank works first.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Okay.
I will not be able to predict ke 2000 whatever pay admission hogi, nahi hogi, kyun nahi hogi. Like I said, every year that changes. It depends on how many students, how many candidates are actually coming in for counseling and what kind of seats they are taking.
Right. So another student is asking, is negative marking still a thing in NIFT exam? I read an article which said it has been removed.
I will not be able to tell you for next year because that will depend on the prospectus and the policy that gets projected in the prospectus. So for 2022, the prospectus should be out in October. That's where you'll get to know if there's negative marking or no negative marking. As far as I know, till last year, we had a +1 and a -0.25 in the written exam, in the GAT. general ability test. But if that's been changed for 2022, I would not be able to tell you right now because the prospectus is not out.
Right. So another student is saying, ma'am, I took admission in textile design, but I'm interested in fashion communication. If I'm unable to change my field in future, will I still be able to pursue jobs in UI, UX, or graphic designing?
Sure, sure. Look, like I just said, NIFT curriculum is planned in a manner that you can build your own careers. UI UX is a new area, and if I look at my list of subjects, there is no subject which says UI UX. But we have a lot of students, and the numbers are increasing, where the students have been working in that field or are developing skills in that field over, over their internships or whatever else. So in that case, they do get into UI UX. Nobody stops you. We have fashion, and this even before our curriculum was modified. Our curriculum was modified about 3 years ago. Before that also, you could choose. I mean, we did not teach costume design to fashion design students till 3 years ago, till we realized that some of our alumnus had got into costume design and were doing extremely well. And that was a field that needed to be tapped. So that's how we build our curriculums also, and we modify the curriculums. The main thing being that if you have a passion for a particular field, you need to think outside of your classroom. Your classroom, remember this, it's not school any longer. It's not about one NCERT book and chapter 1 to 24 you have to rattle and you have to become an expert, and supposedly you'll become an expert in economics. It doesn't work like that. College education is about how much you are expanding your knowledge base. And in a field like fashion, the more you expand your base, the more you are able to develop new fields, get into new areas, create a niche for yourself. It does not matter if you've done a textile design and you want to get into graphics. Sure, get into graphics. Who's stopping you? The
Right.
faculty of your campus will be available. You need extra information, you need extra knowledge, please go ahead and ask. They will help you out. No faculty of NIFT will ever say no to giving knowledge, ever. So you develop your own portfolio. You decide that I don't want to get into making of fabric, I want to do graphics. Sure, please go right ahead with that. That's not a restriction at
Right.
all.
Right. So there's another question. Is there a same exam for all the courses I want? For example, I want fashion communication, but my drawing isn't that great. So the entrance exam is the same?
Yes, yes. So that is why in creative ability test, it is not just, I did point out earlier, it's not just about your skill. It's how much you can think outside the box. And also with every question, there is one component which is about writing, describing what you've made. That gives your writing skills also. So it's not just about how good you are at sketching or not sketching. um, you could be, well, you can't be really bad, but you could be moderately good and still be able to crack the NIFT exam on the basis of your language skills. Possible.
Right. So another student asks, can you talk about scholarships?
Yeah. So in NIFT, we have one major scholarship, two actually, scholarships which are there in all of the campuses. The major one that we have is called Sarthak. Sarthak is a scholarship which is based on your parental annual income. Now, that is what I was talking about earlier, that you could be from a family which is not financially well off and you could still be studying in NIFT. So there are slabs given, and we give up to 100% of tuition fee scholarship. It what if effectively means is for the entire year you will end up paying about just about 25 or 30,000 rupees, because those are the other accounts, medicals and mediclaims and SDAC activities and whatever, insurances and so on. So that you may have to pay, but your tuition fee can get up to 100%. So we have 100%, 75, 50%, and 25. And they are based on parental annual income, for which we have to provide proof. So we do have, and there is no limit to the number of students who can get that scholarship. Earlier, till about 3 years ago, we had that limit that up to 25% of total student population could get it. Now we don't have that limit. So we have a lot of students who are availing of the Sarthak. So that's the big one. The second one, which is linked to Sarthak, is students who are not able to afford their own laptops. So that's a laptop policy where NIFT actually gives them up to 80,000 rupees for a purchase of a laptop. And they are allowed to pay back in very small installments through their fee structure or something. So that is there in the campuses. Why we built this is because you need a laptop in today's world. I mean, you usually do. You cannot be totally dependent on a desktop, and that's also available just in a lab in the college. So we have the laptop policy where we are assisting students in buying, and
Right.
especially some of the courses require slightly, um, should I say, heavier laptops. Heavier not in terms of weight, but heavier in terms of maybe a little more expensive. Some of them, like for example, if we are picking up Apple Macs, Macs are more expensive than your other, laptops that you are buying. So yes, we do assist in that. So
Right.
those two we have. Plus, for students who've got the Sarthak, we also have another one called Udan. Udan is a scholarship which is given to scholarship recipient students who are wanting to go abroad. So it isn't just for the semester abroad, obviously, it's expensive. And it does not mean it's just for the financially well off. So Udan is a scholarship for that purpose. So we do have these scholarships. These are the ones that NIFT has. Other than these, every campus has certain scholarships, free ships, which are sponsored by the industry. For example, in NIFT Delhi, I have one which is sponsored by Blackberries, the brand, the menswear brand. So they say, all right, rank number so and so in this category is what we are. They don't look at name or where the person is coming from. They say EWS rank number one. Matlab, the highest level of EWS, if it is EWS rank number one did not take admission, two took admission, then two will get it. So the highest ranking who takes admission in NIFT Delhi for a particular course gets that scholarship. So unki puri fees Blackberries pay karta hai. So
Right.
we do have these scholarships which are industry based also. Other campuses have other companies that are sponsoring the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So another student is saying, is fashion styling included in fashion communication in NIFT?
Yes. Fashion styling is included in fashion communication. It is included in fashion design. It is included in fashion knitwear design. It is included in leather design.
Uh,
Styling is styling. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Another student is saying, ma'am, I am doing MSc in fashion and lifestyle technology from Punjab University. So now, how do I take PhD admission in NIFT, and what kind of subjects they offer in PhD?
Um, Honestly, for the PhD program, you'll have to go back to our website because the PhD program has its parameters of what you could have done as your masters, and also they look at what is the kind of research you want to undertake. So there are different parameters for that, and that's a completely different admission process. So may I suggest you go back to our website and check on that
Right. Another student asking, if we want to prepare as per the NIFT Delhi College, what can be the preparation format, like where all I can work on to improve my ranking? I gave this year 2021, my rank was 760, All India rank, 91 category rank.
one. And you did not get a seat? That's not possible. Did she get a seat? We don't
We
know.
have, yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, with a 760, yeah, I mean, if you want NIFT Delhi, no. that kind of rank is probably not going to get you NIFT Delhi. How do you prepare? The first thing you need to remember, and that is also answering one question which I'm seeing popping up almost constantly: do I need a portfolio? No. NIFT does not look at portfolios. Undergraduate interviews are in for undergraduate courses. We do not have interviews. There is no face to face, so we do not have any use of any portfolios. Even for PG in design, the portfolio is not checked. How do you prepare? One, you need to get a good grasp on general knowledge and what is happening around the world. And honestly speaking, I think that is a little bit of a problem with particularly a current crop of class 11 and 12. They don't know what's happening in the world. So general knowledge, yes. Second, if you want to prepare for your GAT, the general ability test, sample questions are available in the NIFT website. I would not suggest going for any coaching for the general ability test. Definitely. You don't need it. What you do have are some of these guidebooks. Some of the publishers bring out, which is for NIFT preparation. For some of them, particularly one or two that I've seen, go for the questions, do not look at the answers. Okay. Go for the questions, the sample papers for time check. That's about it. How much can you do in that period of time? But I don't think, for a preparation part, so there are paper kind of books available for that, not to worry. The creative ability is where you get stuck. Now, if I have fine arts in class 11 and 12, or art or sculpture or any of those ones, you have, by the end of class 12 or by the middle of class 12, which is when you'll give your exam, you've developed a certain level of skill. So that's not going to be, you don't really need something extra. Look at the sample question papers for possible questions and try and do it. What we suggest to a lot of students is go back to the art teacher in your school, because they know your hand best. Ask them for their opinion of compositions, of color combinations, of creative skills. Ask your art teachers. There are a number of coaching institutes which are available, some which will also turn around, and I'm saying this as a very serious advisory. Some which will also promise, we will get you the seat in NIFT. Please don't fall for things like this. NIFT admission is an open process. There is no influence possible at any stage, and that includes your counseling.
Right.
So if you are giving the exam, and the exam is in January, February, so once you are giving the exam, you are in the process. For preparation for sketching, if you do not have an art teacher in your school, or you think the art teacher is not good enough, or you know somebody else who is, an artist, or somebody who's teaching art or sketching, get help from there. Coaching institutes, what most of them tend to do is give you a blinker. And a blinker means that, okay, so let me give you an example. That if I have to design, let's say, an award trophy for something, we can actually see the answer sheets and say, ye is academy ka hai, ye is academy ka hai, because we know how they teach. We know how most of these academies or these design institutes teach. So there will be that kind of blinkered attitude. They will not let you explore your creativity.
Right.
And what we are looking at is a more, creative bent of mind.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So another student asks, how can we get admission in our desired NIFT institute? Can we choose our own?
Yeah. Okay. So the counseling process, the way we have it is, it's again a very transparent process. Right now it's online. but normally how we have it is that rank number one, common merit rank number one is called. So the people who are watching can actually see the entire screen, which has all the campuses and all the courses. Let's say rank number one says, I want fashion design Delhi. तो फैशन डिजाइन दिल्ली जहां 15 दिख रहा होगा वो 14 हो जाएगा. So rank number 2 knows that, all right, this is what I have. So every merit rank, you go purely by merit, and then you can choose from your category, whether it's general, whether it is one of the reserved categories, and you can choose your course and you can choose your campus. You can choose from what is available. So अगर Bombay fashion communication बंद हो गया है, बंद as in it's full, and you say नहीं मुझे वही चाहिए, that's not going to happen. Obviously, seat होगी, मिलेगी. So that is how it works.
Right.
So which is why the cutoff thing, that we can't predict where it'll cut off.
Right. Okay. So I would like to know about the fashion psychology BDES course and the possible careers out of it.
Fashion psychology?
Yeah, that's what it's written.
We don't have a course in fashion psychology. Fashion psychology for me is 1 3-hour lecture in the first year. That's it. The psychology of fashion. We don't have a full course in that. So I think you need to get back to your information source, please.
Another student asks, so in the entrance paper, does creativity carry more marks than logic and proportions?
Yes. Yes. It's 40% and 30% goes for the general ability test. So yes, the creative ability is more.
What is the scope after MDes in design?
Okay, so MDes is a master's in design program. We give preference to students who come from a design background. The focus of this program is design research. So a lot of our students, some of our students get into academics, teaching of design. Some of our students are chosen as design researchers for some of the big corporates. Some of them get into UI, UX, etc. So we do have, so Masters of Design is not about a specialization. It's not about whether I understand watches or I understand jewelry or I understand clothes. It's about understanding design. And that is what makes it very different from the courses which are offered otherwise. It's not a master's in fashion design. It's a master of design. So after MDes, you can get into design research, you can get into design merchandising if you like, you can get into academics, you can get into a UI, UX kind of profile, and so on. So you can choose your profile depending on build. Remember this, your master's degree needs to build up on what you've done in your bachelor's. So if you've done a textile design course as bachelor's and then you're doing a master's in design, you can kind of build up on that.
Right. What is the percentage of students that get in as compared to those who give the entrance?
Oh, wow. Okay. um, I don't know. I mean, we have about 2,000 seats approximately at undergraduate level, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe a little more than that, 2,500 seats. If I'm looking at UG design, only design. And I think the number of applicants is more than 1 lakh. So no, putting a figure there is going to be very, very difficult, extremely difficult.
I happen to miss the NIFT entrance due to other exams. I still want to join NIFT. Is there any way that's possible?
No. If you haven't given the exam, then there's no opportunity. You can try again next year.
Please explain about placements in NIFT, including highest and lowest package.
Okay, so like I said, the placement procedure is centralized. Irrespective of which campus you're studying, the companies give a profile that they are looking for, and there is a profile that they're looking for, and there is the students can apply for that particular profile. Yeah. So that is what the entrance exam is, or the placement is all about. Highest and lowest. Last I knew, I'm not a fortune teller. I am not. And I don't think anybody can give you those kind of figures. If I was to talk about this year, 21, my highest in Delhi was 22 lakhs, 24 lakhs, 24 lakhs CTC was the highest. And in Delhi, the lowest was, I don't know, maybe three and a half, whatever. Okay. But it changes from year to year. Why I'm saying I'm not a fortune teller is because if you take admission today, you're going to be passing out for masters, passing out 2 years later, for undergrads, passing out 4 years later. Can I predict what the market will be like at that point of time? No, we can't. We really can't. Nobody could have predicted what happened with the batch of 2020. Nobody. Because when they took admission in 2016, the market was on a very sharp incline. And they were the market in when I say the market, I'm talking about the fashion industry in India, was doing extremely well. And we had some of the highest packages coming, in 16, 17, 18, and they were building up. And then came COVID. Could anybody have predicted? No. So that is our concern, that when we are looking at an industry, packages are dependent on the economic, political, whatever systems at that point of time. Nobody can predict what the situation will be like 4 years hence. So I will not be able to predict what kind of packages you can get.
Now the student asks, ma'am, are all NIFT centers the same?
All the curriculum is the same. The courses are the same. The options that you get, the opportunities that you get are the same. Are they same in terms of infrastructure? Well, they are. We try and make them equitable. I wouldn't say identical. They are comparable, some of them. In terms of spaces, well, Delhi is the original NIFT, and we are on a 4-acre campus, not even 4 actually, which has head office as well as Delhi campus. And some of our newer campuses are on 20 acres, 30 acres of land. So, I mean, comparable in what way? In terms of comparison, I'd like to point one thing out, Shikha. A lot of these magazines have these ranking systems. They are not the most reliable.
Right.
They are really not the most reliable. Okay, I am not saying it as derogatory for those, because I know the amount of effort that some of these organizations put in putting it together. So I know that, and I really appreciate the amount of effort that goes in. But it does not give a very holistic idea about a campus, especially in a case like fashion, where so I can give you the example of last year. It happened. Mumbai campus, for one of the rank of one, either Outlook or India Today, I'm forgetting which one, um, the form that was to be sent. So there is this form of about 20, 30 pages that needs to be filled up and sent every year. The form that was to be sent was either misplaced or something happened in communication, and the form was not received by that agency. Result, Mumbai was not on the rankings. And we actually thought, ye kya hua? I mean, Mumbai is normally at a number 2 or a number 3, in some cases, number 1. So it does become difficult to judge. When you are judging an institute, there are parameters that you need to take into account. When you're looking at NIFT, they're all equitable. It's centralized placement, centralized curriculum, everything is monitored. Every campus is not its own entity, it's all a single body. But when you're looking at other institutes, and this is particular to the parents, please look at what is the degree or what is the final qualification your student is getting, your child is getting. because a lot of them do not give degrees.
Right.
Some of these institutes give degrees which are not valid even in India. So check the UGC lists. Are they recognized? Some of these private institutes, particularly. Some of them will give you degrees, will not give you degrees, will give you diplomas. I have nothing against diplomas, but you need to look at what can a child with a diploma do after she's finished the course or he's finished the course. Are they eligible for post graduation? Will they get a job with that? So when I'm looking at a comparison of NIFT campuses in terms of infrastructure, equitable, in terms of curriculum, identical, placements are common, admission is common.
Right.
Other than that, yes, there would be some variation.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's almost time. I'm just going to quickly take like 3-4 more questions. Can I be a fashion designer after completing BFTech?
If you want to be a fashion designer, and I'm saying this as a technology faculty, if you want to be a fashion designer, don't come into BFTech. The focus is very different. In BFTech, we are looking at machinery, we are looking at systems, we are looking at softwares, we are looking at artificial intelligence. We are not looking at designing of clothes.
Right.
The designer gives us the clothes. I can make 3 lakh pieces of that clothes, but I am not a designer. And I started with that. I am not. And
Right.
that is what a BFTech will make you, a technologist, not a designer.
Will there be a third round of counseling?
Ouch. Again, check with the website. That will be decided only after the second round is complete. And that gets completed day after tomorrow. So only after that, they will take a call on whether they can do it or not.
Right. I did not get a seat in NIFT Bangalore, so I'm not interested. I have paid rupees 1,26,250. By when do I get my refund?
Refunds are normally sent into the bank within 2 to 3 weeks. So if you have not taken a seat, then 2 to 3 weeks from the time you had your counseling, when the counseling got over, 2 to 3 weeks from then, you should be able to get your funds back in the account.
Right. What type of questions are asked in CAT?
In the general ability or CAT?
CAT, creative ability test.
Creative ability. So creative ability, you could be asked to design something, you could be asked to put in a composition of colors, you could be asked to put together something. For example, this time they were asked to design a workstation for a work from home. They were asked to design a new emoji, which you could choose your emotion, and there was a whole list of emotions given, and you actually had to design an emoji out of that, which would be Indian in nature or something. I mean, they put it that way. So the questions vary from year to year. The questions are not normally about design a dress for XYZ or design or whatever. So they keep varying. We look at space, we look at, like I said, it's testing your creative ability, your ability to think out of the box. So that is what
Right.
the questions will be like.
Right. Can we
Again,
apply?
I'm saying the sample papers are available on the website. So you could have a look anytime. Yeah.
Can we apply before our 12th results are out, like before
Yes.
giving the board exams?
Yes. Yes. Obviously. Because if my exams are, in fact, your entrance exam for NIFT will be before your boards. Because boards are generally in the month of March. So we have our first exam. The phase 1 happens before your boards. And that is why it is placed on a Sunday. So it doesn't interfere with your school procedure. So yes, you can apply while you are in class 12 or while you are in final year college, not in class 11 or whatever. So that, of course.
Ma'am, should I focus more on board exams or prepare for the entrance?
I don't know. Um, you still need to pass your boards. I mean, you still need to pass them. So it actually depends on where you're putting your priority of NIFT. Is NIFT priority 1? कि NIFT में नहीं हुआ तो मेरी जिंदगी बर्बाद हो गई kind of thing? Or is NIFT just another option you're looking at? So we do have, especially with students who are applying for BFTech, a lot of them are also applying, have also applied for the NEET and the JEE and whatever other exams are there for entrance for engineering. Because it's the same PCM background that we're looking at. In that particular case, there are students for whom BFTech is और कहीं नहीं हुआ तो BFTech कर लेंगे. But we do get students who are very focused and who are saying कि नहीं करना. I have students even currently who have said very clear कि मैम हमने दिया ही नहीं था. We didn't give the NEET, we didn't give the JEE, नहीं देना था. So you need to prioritize yourself, and that is something that you need to work out also with your family, with your parents, with people who don't take that as a unilateral decision. Because agar NIFT mein nahi hua, then the way our educational system goes, unfortunately, your board results decide what you get to do next. So we may not look at your board results. Other colleges do. There are quite a few colleges which will look at it. So you need to prioritize yourself.
Right. Okay, so the last question that I'm asking, from my side, that like NIFT admissions are almost over. So any private colleges, which are good, that you would like to suggest to students, like,
Oh boy.
students who are not able to crack NIFT, what other options do they have?
With all private colleges, there are some which are really good. I'm not saying they're not there. They are there. So if I look at Delhi NCR, you have IIAD, you have Pearl. When I look at Pune, you have MIT. Bangalore has Shrishti. So some of them are really, really good. No doubts. For any private college, please check their their relevance, and most important, that degree that they're giving, how much is it recognized? I don't think as a NIFT faculty, I can turn around and recommend any private college or any other college. So that is something you will have to kind of think about yourself in terms of what kind of budgets you're looking at, and also private colleges in terms of what they're offering you and where you want to go, what kind of specializations you want to get into.
Okay, so I think with this we're already past time. So with this we come to an end. Thank you so much for your insights, ma'am, and thank you all the participants for participating. Before just logging off, I would request every participant to please fill a feedback form. It will just take 10 seconds. You can just see a pop-up on your screen. So because we would really like to know whether the webinar was helpful or you have any suggestions for improvement. So it will just take 10-20 seconds.
Shikha, if I could just add one more thing.
Sure.
I do realize that a lot of students will have a lot of questions. And yes, from the numbers that I can see, I'm sure there are some questions or some areas we have not been able to address.
Right.
So if there are questions that are being if shiksha.com has a system of getting questions in, you could get them. I'll be glad to answer them, on a different platform altogether, and you can convey it back. Otherwise, please go on to our website. Believe me, the website has all of the information. One last thing, which I can see a question coming consistently. When are the classes going to start for this year? The orientation program for students who've taken admission in 2021 is on 23rd and 24th of August. So that's next Monday and Tuesday. And 25th, your regular classes will start online at the moment. So please get in touch with your campus. The way to understand how the campus website works is you go on to www.nift.ac.com/the name of the campus. So let's say you want to look at what you've got admission in Bangalore. So nift.ac.in//Bengaluru. And that takes you to the Bangalore website and so on. So every campus has the same thing, and you can then get an idea of what's happening on that campus.
Right, right. Thank you so much, now. I can still see, people who have not filled the poll form. It will just take 5 seconds if we can do that. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Thank you so much, Shikha.
yeah.
All right.
All right. Dipang, we can